feels like it's been forever. Forgive me, internets, for I have not exercised in a day. Oh boy, yes. So, excuse me a second. My face is just so disgustingly sweaty. Good Lord, look at that mop of hair. I gotta get a haircut. So I missed you yesterday. I missed my little wine time burn and learn. I, yeah, I couldn't get it in yesterday because I had I had a makeup and hair test thing yesterday. So and another COVID test and all that kind of stuff. Amaya, Trevor, how are you? Boy, I am low key today. I have not eaten yet today, so I've exercised but not eaten. So you are going to get the grumpiest of grumpy McKay Hewletts today. Hello, Lindsay. Hello, Shari. Hello, 3D Medic Vince. Hello, Steve, Cherry, and Son. Hello, Soma, Brooft. Hello, Roxanne, Lucretia. Sardonic Spirals, Wesley S., Ryan Johnson, Kameraden, Manon. Oh my gosh, there's too many. Hello, everybody. So you missed me yesterday, didn't you? You're thinking, boy, that lazy sod, he's not exercising. I was exercising my artistic, no, I wasn't. I was sitting in a freaking chair while people put prosthetics all over my face. And my face is all sore today. I don't like prosthetics. I mean, I think they're the coolest thing on the planet, and I think they're really neat, and I love the way they do it, and I always love the people who are doing it because they're always like really cool. And I get to talk about Fangoria magazine, and I just sit there nattering away in the chair for hours and hours and hours, and I drive them crazy. But then they pull it off, and you're like, this hurts my little precious skin. So I got some makeup tests yesterday. Very cool. Very, very cool stuff. And then some odd sort of hair accoutrements, some added little bits and pieces that they were toying with, playing with. I'm not sure whether to go the full wig or to add things to my existing hair, whatever that may be. Good luck attaching anything to this little island of lost hope. Yeah, just really fun. Got to do that. Got to go and get my nostrils swabbed again for the other show. So this is my morning. I get up early. I get picked up. Very nice of them to do that. In a car with a big plastic shield between myself and the driver, and it's an entire van, just me and the driver in it. We've got masks on. We've got the disinfectant stuff, and so we're chatting, having a great chat with this guy Kyle, who's the driver, and he was telling me all about how he sort of fought against getting into the film industry and eventually ended up in it, and just it's always interesting to talk to the peeps in transport, because I always find they're either very young enthusiastic folks or they're very old jaded, and I get along with both of them. So I'm happy to talk to either one of those. Those are my two spectrums within an hour. Basically, I go from young and excitable to old and freaking grumpy. So fun little chat. So drive up there, hop out at the first studio, which is a studio for another show, run in there, line up, get my nostrils done, and take off again, say hi to everybody, because I'm going to see them on Wednesday. So I film on Wednesday for this other show. So they need to have tests. I've got dog hair in my mouth and in my nose because I exercised upstairs today, and the dog kept sort of wandering in to see what was going on and to sort of come in and lick my eyes while I'm trying to do wimpy push-ups and things. Anyway, so go get the test, go get the makeup stuff. And that was basically my day. I came home and then had to sort out kids' lunches and all that kind of stuff. So basically just didn't get a chance to exercise yesterday. I thought, you know what? Fine. I'm taking a day off. I ate a Mars bar. I was like, you know what? I'm taking a cheat day. I'm doing the Rock. When The Rock does it, I'm going to do it. Normally, all I did was cheat days, when I would just watch all of The Rock's cheat days and go, wow, pancakes. I want pancakes. And I go and make pancakes. So now I feel slightly less guilty about having those Mars bars seem very big. Like a whole Mars bar just seemed like a lot of Mars bars. So I chopped it in half very dutifully, and I ate the first half, and then I came back and ate the second half because that's how I rolled. So today I really wanted to get back. I felt like if I didn't leap back into it this morning, it was gonna fall into that. I was gonna get that slump, and I don't want this slump. So I did it this morning. My lovely wife was trying not to wake Jane up while I'm leaping around the bedroom, kicking the dog by accident and having the dog chase me around while I try to do toe touches and things. And then at the very end, I just hear this, well done. Because Jane, let me just get this clear. Jane does very long dog walks every morning and does a hell of a lot more exercise than I will ever do. But she is not a morning person. I didn't think I was. It turns out the only person who is a morning person is actually our dog. So Huzzah basically gets me out of bed every morning. Anyway, so I figure I'm up, I make tea, I give Jane a cup of tea, I have a cup of tea, I sit and doom scroll for a little while, although I feel like it's a little happier place in there. Although I just don't look up anything about the pandemic or vaccinations in this country because that's a whole other spiral of madness there. The announcement that we are hoping to have everybody vaccinated by September. I'm like, oh my God, we've got like variants showing up all over the place. It's literally a race between vaccination and the variants of this horrible virus, and we've already lost. So I just hope that my parents can stay safe, and I hope that everyone else is elderly and infirm. Not that I'm calling my father elderly or infirm, Daddy, just to make sure. To be very, very clear, love you very much, and I'm not. You're doing very well, sir. But to everyone else out there, I'm really worried. I'm really worried that they've botched this, and once again, the pandemic has proven how freaking inefficient our politicians and our government is in a lot of this stuff. I know it's difficult. I know the logistics of this stuff is difficult, but it's not like we didn't see this coming, and certainly saw the second wave. So to be announcing that we're considering doing. Hey, I think we're going to start making our own viruses here. Viruses. That's next. I think we're just going to start making our own vaccinations in Canada. What a great idea! Now, a year and a half into this, what a great idea. Anyways, I just find it sickening. All these, old white guys standing around saying platitudes and avoiding questions, and it just drives me freaking crazy. Anyway, so my mom just got her first vaccine shot this week. Yoo-hoo, Angel! Oh, I'm so happy. My mom in England, in London, has got hers, which is very nice, and I think was even more important. I think because she just lost her brother, her elder brother, to COVID. He died the week before, and then she got the vaccination the next week, and I'm obviously very sad that he couldn't have got it. But she's got hers now, and I really think it really helped her state of mind a lot because. That's got to be a horrible thing hanging over you. I mean, she's basically my mom. I mean, not because of COVID, but because of just age and health and cancer and stuff, has lost almost every single one of her siblings at this point. And that's rough. It's really rough. Anyway, so Mummy is vaccinated. Horrid Mummy, as I call her, or Mummy in the attic. No, Granny in the attic. We used to call her because we used to put her on the top floor. Now her knees are too bad. We'll put her a little lower down when she comes to visit. But we used to like her having a top floor because she had her own bathroom and it was just a nice view and she had a little patio and stuff. So she was horrid Granny in the attic, and she'd be up at the crack of dawn making tea and thumping around. And I'd be like, "Shut it, Mummy!" Anyways, my mom just caught COVID whilst in hospital in the UK. She has no symptoms. I'm praying she's okay, and she has a lot wrong with her. Oh, Sam. I mean it. Yeah, I mean, this is it. It looks to me like, the UK, keep in mind that the UK could fit, every little bit of the UK could fit in the bottom right-hand corner of the province we're in. Forget Canada, of the province of Ontario. Not England, the UK would fit in the entire thing would fit in the tiny little bottom corner of it. So logistically, I understand that Canada is a freaking nightmare for getting this stuff out to people. But we're seeing board of directors of long-term healthcare companies getting vaccinated because we had some extra. Everyone had been vaccinated, so we had extra. So we just thought we'd bring the board of directors and their family in and have them vaccinated while we were at it. I mean. You want to start a revolution, this is the way to do it, is to really point out those haves and have-nots between people. And look, and I can talk. Like, the fact of the matter is, I do very well for myself. Acting has been very, very, very kind to me. And I like to think I gave it a run for the money, too. But we gotta, this is crazy. This is crazy that it's insane to me. I was talking with friends last night, on Zoom, and just Jane was just saying, like, why don't they just publish how to make this stuff, and we could just all start making it? Why are we being charged by dose and discovering that there's an extra dose available in the vials that we've been sent? So now we've just got a bill for the extra dose, and all the new ones will have less doses in them. I mean, it just the monetization of people's life is disgusting. It always has been. It's just become much more apparent to everybody because, not all of us have, severe disabilities or severe respiratory issues or cancer or genetic, gene therapy that is available to us but completely unaffordable because they charge so much for it. I mean, this has got to change. I mean, this is crazy. I don't, it's just disgusting. So anyways, there you go. Humans are greedy, mate. It's true. And the other thing is, it's like, someone comes in and offers me a vaccination, I'd give it to my son. I'd give it to no, you know what I do? Actually, no, if I got offered a vaccination at this point, I'd go and give it to my dad or my mom, my stepmom, because I got mummy in England. I've got stepmom, or mummy 2.0, as I call her, the wonderful, fabulous Helen. So, dad and Helen are basically holed up at home. They can't go anywhere. My dad was a doctor his entire life. And now he's at home, like terrified to leave because and there's no word of vaccinations here, none at all for them. My stepmom's, my stepmom has, let's say, some serious freaking underlying conditions, like serious, like she can't get it, and it's not even an option. So, anyways, and yes, we should bring back SG1 and Atlantis. Damien, you're right. Forget this pandemic stuff. We got to get Stargate Atlantis and SG1 back. Yeah, I never really thought of myself as a socialist in any way. I don't know. I always thought of myself as a bleeding heart conservative. I always felt that the government should stay out of as much as possible because they were so freaking inefficient and it was just so basically corrupt. And that anybody who wants to be a politician shouldn't be a politician. It's basically, it's funny because Imperador was talking the other day about technocracy, the idea that it was a government system run by scientists, run by people who specialized in the various different things. And I keep reading about it, and it's a fascinating perspective. But of course, science is cruel. Science doesn't care about human emotions and all that kind of stuff. I mean, in a logical sense, the absolute, and in a way, I'm sort of all for it. Logically speaking, we should shut down. No one should go out. It should be enforced by whatever forces are necessary to do so, and that stops the virus from spreading. It is as simple as that. There is no such thing as the right to contage, the right to contagiousness. I don't know what the term would be. There should be, the reality is when it comes to a virus, there's no such thing as fairness. There's nothing fair about it. I mean, yes, restaurants are suffering. Yes, all these different industries are suffering. I don't see a choice around. I don't understand why the film industry is going. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm a part of it. I feel like I have to participate because I have to earn a living. But I don't understand why it is able to continue while others are not, other than money. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of money to throw at PPE. They have a lot of money to throw at testing. Like I said, I had a woman show up at my door the other day who, in flowing PPE robes and masks and shields and everything, and she swabbed my nose and then hopped in a van and took off again. And that was my test for one production. The other production, I went and again got picked up and delivered to them to have it done. I mean, and yet there are 80-year-old and plus people staggering off to line up for treatment. I mean, it doesn't seem right to me. So I don't know what to do about it. I've got a friend of mine actually has just done has commissioned a bunch of these, those little bracelets, those little silicone bracelets. They used to have them for everything, and I haven't seen them a lot recently, but they're silicone bracelets that just say vaccinate on it. And the idea is to try to get people to start talking about vaccination. So when someone goes like, oh, you're going to get vaccinated? Why? It's going to be dangerous. They've only spent 10 months building. That you can have those arguments, that people can start trying to convince people to vaccinate, because there's been such a pushback, even from healthcare workers in the States pushing back about getting vaccinated. We need to educate people about this stuff. I mean, this is the difference. I mean, vaccination is the only way to stop this, short of just killing out the population that's going to get killed by it. And I really, truly hope that is not what's going to happen. I mean, I have to look into it. But I was talking to a driver the other day, and they were saying that that India has it sorted out. That India has figured out a system, and they're getting vaccinated, and they're doing a really, really good job given the number of people that they're sort of contending with. And I'm curious to know where they stack up compared to Canada, because Canada just seems to be, I feel like we're just I feel like we're sort of wandering around. I feel like I feel when I walk into the fan cave every day. I wander around and I start on one thing and then I go over here and I go over here and I have to sit there and go like, okay, Hewlett, focus. So let nature take its course, I say. Let people live the way they choose. Gorilla Danish, let nature take its course, I say. Yeah, gorilla, until it's you, right? Until you are faced with the possibility of being saved, when your life is in peril. Because I kind of get what you're saying. There's an aspect of it where you go like, well, this is par for the course of like overpopulated animal species on the planet. I mean, they get too big, disease runs rampant, it knocks down the population. Again, very scientific sort of evolutionary approach to this kind of stuff. But the reality is that it's not populations anymore. These are people now, right? So the fact that, like just bring it to an entirely selfish level. Go full McKay on this and think, you have a disease that could potentially kill you or the people that you love, or you have a parent who is being ravaged by a disease. If there's, I mean, again, not that the vaccine is a cure, but if you can vaccinate people against that, if you could have stepped back in time and given your elderly, if I could have given my uncle a vaccination a week before he freaking got it, you don't think you would do that? I feel like that's got nothing scientific about it. There may be people who deserve it more, but in your heart, you're going, I want to save him. It's such an odd dilemma because the reality is in many cases in these long-term care facilities, there's a population of these people who will only probably be around with or without pandemic for a couple of years anyways. But, who are we to make those calls? I mean, my father once in his usual very Hewlett approach to life, his rather grim, sometimes grim perspective, said that his problem with euthanasia with legislating euthanasia in a country where the healthcare is socialized, is that it's cheaper for people to die. So of course they want to make it easier for people to pull themselves out of the system if they're going to be a drag on it. I struggled with the idea that New Jersey was vaccinating smokers. I thought, like, what the, come on, those idiots are like, man, I was a huge smoker. I am the most obsessive compulsive person. I'm terrible. I'm the weakest person alive. I'm a coward. I am weak. I am undisciplined. I smoked like a chimney. I would wake up in the morning, light a cigarette, brush my teeth, one side, and then put the cigarette on the edge of the sink as I brushed the rest. I mean, it was foul. So I understand the addiction to that. Look, my approach to alcohol was always like, when do you stop drinking? Well, when it's finished. You know what I mean? Like it's a very sort of British approach, I suppose. But and as a result, I've sort of cut back on that too. I was concerned that these people who were not looking after themselves were getting vaccinated. And I suddenly went, wait a second, no, it just makes sense. If you can, the more people you get vaccinated, the better. So now, having said that, I go back and I go, well, so should I be angry with that board of directors who brought in their family and had them vaccinated over other people because they didn't want the vaccines to go to waste? Was their sort of excuse for it. But now they've come up with a much better system, and they'll connect with other facilities that might need it next time. But they're vaccinated. You guys are free to disagree with me, but my position is not stupid. It's been thought out over the last year. No, Gorilla, and everyone, I think the whole point of this, the one thing I love about this sort of community here is that it doesn't usually devolve into name calling and anger and stuff. And I don't want it to. Gorilla, you raise a very valid point. I think there is, I wish I could be, I wish that we could be that logical in our approach to stuff. But then, if we were all Vulcans, this wouldn't be a problem. You'd go like, well, obviously the elderly and the infirm shouldn't be the first people vaccinated because they are not going to, last on this planet for long anyways. So, from a science logistical standpoint, I don't feel like, I feel like that's a very different perspective on stuff, but we're not just machines. We're not just Vulcans, unfortunately. I could kill for some more ear. I just don't feel comfortable, in approaching the pandemic that way. And yeah, it really. Oh, so Gorilla, you're a Vulcan fan. Yeah, I mean, look, and then this is it. I feel like um, things change when they become personal. And much as I would love to distance, I always wished I could just be a brain in a bucket. That was always my sordid dream, was that one day I could be removed from this bag of lipids. In my case, mainly lipids. For most people, it's water. For me, it's mainly lipids. And just be a brain connected to the internet and a part of everything, and a creature of pure thought, and relieved of all of the disgusting day to day operations of a body. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be a cyborg. Not even a cyborg. I just want to be a freaking computer. But we're not. We're just not there yet. Maybe we will be at some point. And I think it's one of my fascinations with assistive technology, is that I feel like, we define ourselves from animals through technology. That's how we are enhancing ourselves all the time, whether we mean to or not. But at what cost? What is it? We're thinking that the population of this planet will double within lifetimes now. So the population of the planet will double. No, it will have doubled in my lifetime. I think at this point, and that my son, when he is my age, will have witnessed the doubling of a population, unless something happens. And this is the kind of stuff that kills off the herd, right? But I just don't think we can approach it that way. And that's the weird thing, is because you go, like, the reality is, I remember talking to a one of those amazing folks at Sea Shepherds, and they were saying the problem is not overfishing. The problem is humans. The problem is it's not that there are too few fish, it's that there are too many humans. And which really I got a little bit of a chill on it, because you're going like, well, so what are you saying? And I'm not saying that that's what Sea Shepherds are talking about, but the reality is we have overpopulated this planet considerably, and we've forced huge amounts of people into small areas, and only those that can afford the space around them have the sort of the freedom and the luxury of peace and quiet, basically. So it's a very interesting and worrying situation that we're in. That we are cognizant enough to have to actually debate this stuff in our heads. So no, I don't think what Gorilla has said was stupid. I think Gorilla could have been a little nicer about it, but you're talking to McKay, so what do you want? I don't think McKay would have put it any nicer. But McKay, I also know that McKay wishes that McKay would talk Gorilla. I think McKay would talk Gorilla for sure, would have put it that way. But the reality is, when McKay was faced with those choices, I think he always, or very often, chose the high road on that stuff. And I think that's what sort of was wonderful about it, and resented every second of it. And I feel that I'm very similar that way. Like, I feel like, one of my best friends of all time is our Bill and Jill. And Jill is Jill is an ophthalmologist. Ophthalmologist? Is that right? That's the doctor as an optician. No, an optician does glasses, and not just, but does glasses and stuff. Ophthalmology. So she's ophthalmology, but ophthalmology at a level of like how to, of studying ophthalmology for the extension of life, and real truly heady, complex stuff. And she said that, her husband was a good person, and if he found a wallet, he would automatically take it to a police station and turn it in. Whereas Jill and I felt that we were better people, because we would find that wallet, we would look for the money and valuables in it, and then think about what we would like to do with that money and valuables. And then we would be very, very, very tempted to take that money for ourselves, and to use it and to spend it on important things like, Lego figures or robots, or in her case, probably some nice shoes and stuff. Or though knowing her is probably more tech for her ophthalmologist. Anyway, point being is we would struggle with the dilemma of what to do with that money. And then we would take it to the police station and give it in. So we felt that we were much, much better people, really, than the very good person that she was married to because he wouldn't give it a second thought. He would just directly do the right thing. Whereas we would battle between those little devils and angels on our on our shoulders. Megan Wolski has a birthday, and so what will I say? I will say happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to Megan, happy birthday to you. Now I need more tea. Happy birthday, you're older, whatever. You're probably younger than me, so yeah, whatever. What, another 3D printer? What's that? What's that? Or another 3D printer? Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, I'd go for maybe the 3D printer mini. No, you know what I'd go for? I think I'd go my next 3D printer. But I think I have to wait till the summer so I can put it outside. It's too freaking cold. And I'd love to use the garage as a space, as a Tech Bandit space. It's just too cold. I have to insulate it because it's too cold brutally cold in the winter because there are panels missing on the side where the animals have moved in. And so there's just a howling gale. It's probably minus 15 in there right now. And then in the summer, in the midsummer, it's just like a freaking oven. You're just like, it's like a sweat lodge. I should do yoga in there. So at some point I will, I don't know, maybe I'll do like a Kickstarter or something for some insulation and just get someone to come in and just insulate and fix it up and fix the roof, which is dripping. And, maybe I want to set up some kind of a swipe card system so the kids can come in anytime they want. Well, the kids can just come in and use the technology. And then one of the things I'd like to put out there would be like a resin printer. I thought like a resin printer would be really cool to have because they're kind of stinky in the fumes and stuff. And I thought the garage is a way better place for that because I will not be married long if we have one in the basement. So there you go. I love you guys. This is helping me a lot. Oh, good, Megan. Birthdays are tough in the pandemic. I'm about to have my second birthday in the pandemic because mine's in April, right? So I'll have my second birthday in the pandemic, and I got to say, I freaking love it because no one can do anything. Although they did do a horrid, a Zoom chat last time. It was terrifying. So many people. A heated chamber is what you need. I have one to print ABS. Yeah, you know what I did? Old Get What Games, great name. Is I took this stuff. Do I have any lying around here? A sec. It was just a temporary thing, but I used. Let me see if I got it here. Hang on. I'll be back. Talk amongst yourself. So I save all of this stuff, all of this sort of cardboard installation stuff that we get with food deliveries and things. And with ABS, what I did was I put a little, my wife would just shudder at the amount of electricity. But so I built a little box for my 3D printer out of this, just a temporary thing, like literally just like duct tape and a couple of books on top to keep it in place. And then I had a heater blowing into it. So I just built a little chamber for the 3D printer while I was doing ABS. I don't have a lot of luck with ABS. I find ABS very, very, very tricky, and I tend to screw it up. The other thing I have, which is kind of fun, is wait a sec. Yeah, I'll tell you what I've got. I got mushrooms. Check it out, folks. Look at that mushroom menagerie, huh? Don't they look delicious? So yes, I got mushrooms growing. Those are not growing. I'm not showing you those because those look disgusting. And then so this is what I have for the CNC machine. So the CNC machine just has a nice little case here. Don't put I was about to put my tea on the 3D printer. That is not a thing to do. So I got the old Prusa here. This is just, this baby. I love this baby. I love the new one, but this one is just this one's like having an old motorcycle. I just love it. It's bulletproof. That's got some wood doped filament basically. So it's a PLA that prints as a kind of a slightly wood-like material. It's kind of neat. And then this is the CNC machine here. So this is a beautiful little Sainsmart beast. Little router on here. And then I got the box for it because first off, noise, and the other thing is dust. It kicks up a lot of wood dust and stuff. And then, of course, if you're getting into like plastics and stuff, you don't want that stuff flying around. So I got a little box for that, built that. And then I have the laser sitting right here. I'd like to get the laser on it. My son, much to my chagrin, went and bought a little anime plexi LED thing from Amazon the other day. So, and what it is one of his sexy, cool anime characters all out, basically cut out of a piece of plexi, sits on top of a bank of little LED lights, and it just lights up. It's just a beautiful little thing. And but bless him, he says, yeah, but now we've got it. We can figure out how it works, and I can take this one off, and you can build other ones to put in there. And I was like, I love him. So you saw it. It looks cool. Oh, Terabyte Kill. Did he show it off? Did he show it off on his stream yesterday? It looked nice. Yeah. Well, so this is it. So Jim, what I'm thinking is, by the way, Jim the Evo, James Gurney, James R. Gurney, go check him out on Twitch. James is going to be dungeon mastering with us tomorrow at 3 p.m. as we once again battle him and his many voices. James Gurney of the Many Voices will be doing that. So, and I think he's doing a dual screen, so you can watch him and you can watch us and be a part of the chaos that is the Tech Bandits attempting to do D&D. So one day we will be able to 3D print people, and then we will conquer the world, says Nathan. Yeah, very good. Yeah, after you. I don't want to print people. I mean, you could print parts, I suppose, for people. That was one of the things I'm talking about. Please, yes, do this now. While I've got you, go over to thetechbandits.com and sign up for my mailing list, because I'm taking great joy and glee in playing with this, and I am sending out much shorter, not concise in any way, because I don't do concise, but I'm sending out nice little things once in a while that come up that I find interesting. And the latest one was about enable and this whole concept of going from cosplay to sort of global assistive tech phenomenon. So I thought that was kind of cool. So please do that. And if you can, share it with somebody. I just like to get the word out. The more people that that I can be communicating with, the more sort of options and paths and connections and stuff that you make as you go along. And it's just amazing how, as the numbers have grown, how easy it is for me to sort of go like, I really want to look into whatever. And then what happens, someone knows somebody, and off we go, and we can do that. There's always a nerd who knows a nerd. So the more nerds I know, the better. These are the nerds I know. So yes, thetechbandits.com. I am shameless, I know. But you know what? I'm very good at promoting things I love. I'm not so good at promoting myself. I have to work on that, I think. Actually, no, I don't. Screw that. I'm much go look at Tech Bandits. What other things of excitement for you? My wife forced me to sit down and watch Private Eyes last night because I was in an episode directed by the fabulous Jason Priestley, I might add. That guy, I really like that. I really like and respect that guy. He's fun to talk to. He's a dad. We got to talk about anime, and I got to recommend a few things for him to look at that Baz liked. He's just like, he's laid back, and yet he's managed to really make his way into the directing side of stuff. And it's something he's always loved doing. And it was really fun. It's really, as I say, it's really fun to sort of cause chaos under the guidance of Mr. Priestley. So does that mean you don't love yourself enough? Good question, Abomination. I've never been good at loving myself so much. I think that's a British thing where one tends to sort of undermine and diminish one's own self. It's funny. I suppose it's kind of almost like a false humility, I suppose. I used to go into auditions in LA, and the difference between auditions in LA and auditions in Toronto are considerable. I found in England, in England, and then I'm in England. In Canada, I found that auditioning, I always felt like I was doing the casting agent a favor. You know what I mean? I always felt that they were doing me a favor by having me in there. I always felt a bit like sort of, you're walking in and it's like, you almost feel like you're walking into a church of some sort. Whereas you go to LA, you always feel like you've done them a favor and they're just so happy to see you. And I realized early on when my friend Andrew pointed out that Hollywood just operates on fear. The idea that, oh my God, what if I'm rude to this weird looking, hairless thing called Hewlett? What if I'm rude to him and suddenly he becomes very famous? What if he's the next Tom Cruise? Very likely, I might add. So there's probably happens less now if I were to go back now. I'd probably find that a little less of a problem for them. They'd go, no, he's had his time. I think we can be a jerk to him. But it was a very different sort of mentality about it. It's I don't know what it is. I guess because Hollywood has been doing this for so long, they are so aware of the way the process works. And whereas I feel in Canada, a lot of the times it can feel a bit like they're working for someone else, that we are, that we're not a part of things. We are we're just sort of an employee in the system that's happening up here. And of course, I'm very lucky in that I don't feel that way. Partially because I think as an actor, it's a slightly different thing, and also because I've been in LA, right? And I've just been around for a long time. That's what it is. I always know somebody. I feel like I get on set, there's always somebody I know something about. Anyways, they're always the older ones too. Megan, can you look also groups on? Can you also look for groups on? What's Megan looking for? Megan. You guys all just pulled me out of a funk this morning. Thank you for the love, Megan. Well, look, here's the thing. It's my dad used to call it the black dog. He goes, "Oh, you've got the black dog," and it was always seen as very normal that the Hewletts would either be, ridiculously, manically high or just catatonically low, and I grew up thinking that was the way it was supposed to be. That was just me. That's my personality. And then as you get older, you realize, well, no, that's actually that's a mental health issue that one should probably go and talk to someone about. Fact is, if you're low, you can be low for good reasons, the very valid reasons. But if it's something that you're struggling with all the time, then you need to reach out for sure. But reach out to people who know what they're talking about, because I think there's a sort of very easy to sort of have, a couple of nice things said online, or or a little email or something, and feel good about it. You need to get that looked at. If the funk has become a long-term funk, especially now. There's so much weirdness going on now. It's like people are stressed. They don't even know they're stressed. I mean, I wear a mouth guard to exercise. I'm chewing my mouth so much, never be ashamed of it. Go and talk to someone about it. I was horribly macho silly about this stuff until my wife basically said, look, you need to, this is not, you're not supposed to be like this. This is not you. Or I hope it's not you. It's probably more like it. And it just makes a huge difference. It's very, very easy to get into that, to hit that low point and just to, you belly flop. You know what I mean? It takes a while to get out of that. And sometimes you need help, whether that's by an expert talking to you about it, or in some cases it's medication. I mean, there's just, there's nothing to be ashamed of about that stuff. You gotta get it dealt with. So yeah, but if this can help, great, perfect. There you go. Welcome, and have a good birthday. Birthdays can suck that way too. Honestly, birthdays can be. I was like, why do you want to remember every year that you're a year older? I mean, they're kind of stupid to some extent. I never really liked birthdays. I like presents though. Okay, you got to do the birthday present to get the presents. Okay. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, so yeah, there you go. So you need to be talking to professionals about that. I'd love to help, but I guarantee you I'm useless at it, and I think you want to be careful you're not reliant on people who don't know what they're talking about, because I don't know how to give you the right advice on that kind of stuff. Nor are you asking, I know, but so make sure you go talk to someone about that. Look, McKay went to a psychiatrist on Atlantis. He didn't want to be there, and he thought it was stupid the entire time. But you know what? He had to go. All right, there you go. MDMA for people, but that's the other thing, Jared, is don't do the self-medication thing. Doesn't work. Trust me, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know what I mean? You're feeling low, you go out and have a few drinks, that doesn't help. And MDMA or whatever the hell you're talking about, all that stuff, you want to be talking to someone who knows what they're doing. Go to a doctor. Talk to a doctor. Just go talk to a doctor. I know there's a lot of, doctors are not infallible. They're not always good. But if you get a bad doctor, talk to another one. I mean, but don't try to, by all means, look at alternate ways of, dealing with stuff. But when it comes to medication, just find out what you're dealing with before you start diving into that stuff. Anyways, self-medicating feels like it's working beautifully. That's the problem, right? And you don't know whether you're compounding the problem or whether you are improving it. I mean, maybe you are improving it. And I'm not saying don't, look, I'm all for biohacking, you know what I mean? And that is literally self-medication. I mean, that's people doing genetic, gene therapy on themselves and stuff. I mean, I think that's I just think it's really cool. I'm just way too much of a coward and don't like needles. So, so I think there's definitely a place for that kind of stuff. But I think when it comes to mental health issues, the whole point is you're not thinking straight, right? So you're probably not making the best decisions there anyway. So just make sure you get a second opinion on that, because if the giant unicorn in the corner is telling you should try MDMA to cure the giant unicorn in the corner, probably not advice you should be listening to. Exercise is great. Exercise is fan-freaking-tastic. Definitely puts you in a better mood. All those dolphins running through your system, as my son used to say. Endorphins. I can't say it. So maybe it was me who said that. All right, what are we doing? Anything else in here? There are MDMA studies. If you can get into it, it's great. But what Hewlett is saying, don't self-medicate. It doesn't work. Source me. Just use exercise, meditation, and herbs. Yeah, I mean, look, it depends what it is, right? I mean, one of the discussions at Biohack the Planet, which was whoa, look at that hair, was, I think I still have gel from yesterday's wig stuff, but I tell you, I kind of like it. One of the things that came up there was this amazing guy who is researching cancer treatments for his wife. So his wife, who sadly, died of cancer eventually, but he traveled all over the world following up on all these different possible cures or treatments or, ways of handling this stuff, and was completely open to everything. But open in that he was open to scientifically approaching this stuff. He was a very down-to-earth, very practical guy who was doing amazing things, but couldn't save his wife, unfortunately. And nor was, I don't say that with any kind of a judgment on it. The work he did is invaluable and will continue to be invaluable. But he followed up on all these things because he wanted to know if there were things that might work that weren't being looked into by the medical community for whatever reason, whether it was too expensive or whether it was unlikely or whatever these things are. And there was just so many scams. There was so much crap that he was getting fed from stuff. And of course, I think when you're desperate, that's the sucker's game, right? When you're low and you're feeling bad about yourself, and if marketers or pharmaceutical companies or anything can convince you that what they've got, that they understand you and that they're going to help you, I mean, you're at a low point. It's easy to fall for that stuff. Look, it happens with actors all the freaking time, right? Actors, they're not working. They're feeling bad about themselves. The only thing they can do is exercise to make themselves feel good. I'm not talking about me. They don't have families. They don't have a dog that wakes them up every morning at 7:30. They fall for a lot of this crap. There's a lot of, I know a lot of people who fell for one thing or the other, whether it's from Scientology to Christianity, for God's sake. I mean, there's so many things that people can get suckered into, and again, I have no problem with people getting things that help them. My concern is that they don't always, if that makes sense. So, huzzah! Exactly. We have receptors in our brains that love positive energy. Well, that's the scroll, isn't it? I mean, that's the little dopamine bump you get every time you scroll up on the TikTok. And what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And it's the reason why I actually banned TikTok from Baz's phone the other day, was because I just felt like it felt like Brave New World. It felt Soma-like. It felt like glued to this screen of crap, of silly, forgettable, and yet indelible content that he was getting that just had no, it made me so angry. Again, I guess this is part of age, right? I mean, as a kid, I wasted a lot of time, I'm sure, watching what would have been silly television shows or silly, but I did it by rescuing televisions from garbage dumps and things, and bringing them home and getting them to work, and then hiding them under my bed so I could watch, Square Pegs or Max Headroom at night when I was supposed to be doing my homework. You know what I mean? So in a weird way, that desire to be a part of the film and TV community, to be able to watch these things, sort of fueled my interest in electronics and stuff. And I almost fell out of the house. We had like a three story one. It's a 3-story house, I guess. Big old house that we lived in, and the cable was just over that side of the roof, and I sort of shimmied out onto the roof and slid along to go and get this cable so that I could splice the cable, and I would have cable in my room was the idea. And then I slipped, and I almost fell off the roof, and I just luckily caught the guttering and climbed back up into my window, and have never climbed out of windows again. But like I was this close. But I did get the cable. I figured out another way of doing it. I had a little cable, and I fed it through, and I pulled it through, and I sort of like fished it through the neighboring bedroom and stuff. So I got my cable. Don't worry about it. But the number of people who probably, and I was like, probably Baz's age, 13, 14 years old. That would have been a nasty fall, let me tell you. I would have got my brain in a bucket wish with that, for sure. Modress, look for D&D on TikTok. Can you do that? Be very short, wouldn't it? You like sliders. Sliders, what, the series or the burger? I like them both. I prefer the burger. Sliders, those little mini hamburgers. Oh my God, I'm hungry now. Can you tell I'm hungry? Hey, Jane, do you have any amazing plans for breakfast? I was just toasting some hot cross buns. Nothing just about it, darling. That's fantastic. Okay. How did you know? So I need to come up. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because my beautiful and brilliant wife, Jane, is standing there with hot cross buns. So that's two of my favorite things, within a foot of each other. Awaiting me in the kitchen. What am I doing talking to you? Who are you for? Anyways, all right. Any English food you miss? English chocolate. English chocolate. They just don't make chocolate. That horrible, sweet, waxy chocolate they make here is disgusting. British chocolate, absolutely. British tea. Sainsbury's Red. Somebody send me a bag of Sainsbury's Red, would they? Although we've been doing Yorkshire Gold, which is pretty good. What else don't we get here, Jane? Yeah, I said that. Sainsbury's Red Label. Ribena. No, we get Ribena here. I think we do. Well, I haven't done Ribena for ages because somebody told me it was bad for the kid. But I used to like Ribena too. What else do they have? Oh, the chips. The crisps. All of the crisps. What about Whatsits and Percy Pig? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, my candies. Basically, anything that's bad for you. Jelly babies. We don't really get good jelly babies here. You can't get jelly babies in a nice white bag. I used to like that white little powdered bag, and they weren't powdered, but the jelly babies were powdered, and you could go, would you like a jelly baby? I used to do it all the time. And they beat me up on the way back to school. Missed black pudding. Oh, it's true. Black pudding is delicious. I even like the kind of slightly over-processed black pudding. But James, normally in the States, they have like a British shop or something. For some reason, they don't do a lot of that here. But, the flake bar. I used to love the flake bar. The ice cream. The ice cream's really good. Cheese. I do like my Wensleydale. There's Wensleydale. There's what is that red one that I like? Red Leicester. Oh my God, the Red Leicester. Oh, clotted cream. Scones. Oh, screw this. Can we move back to England? Jane's got a house in Warwickshire. I could be there with a pig and a tractor. And the pig would be called Tractor, and the tractor would be painted Pig. All right, I'm out of here. Red Leicester. There is one the other side of Atlanta, but they don't stock black pudding. That is weird. I wonder if they call it something else. Is it possible they call it something else? Blood pudding, perhaps. Oh man, do I want a big English breakfast now. Black pudding and eggs and bacon and ham and baked beans, and all my wife can muster up is a single frickin' hot cross bun that I had to pick up. God, how do I put up with her in this pandemic? I don't know. Jane, you are so lucky to be stuck with me. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you soon. Yes, Jason Priestley from 90210. Fantastic. Amazing. And he's been directing forever, so he knows what he's doing. Okay. Great stream this morning. Thanks for putting in the time with us. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Like, I'm not actually putting time in with you. You're putting time in with me because I freaking love it. I missed it yesterday. I really did. Stupid work. Stupid people paying me to do the thing I always dreamed of doing in my life. Okay. Talk to you later. So until we geek again. You know what? Go check out Tech Talk today. Tech Talk with Barnacles. It'll be Barnacles and Ox today. I am not joining today, I'm afraid. I have a very, very old dear friend who is going to come over, and I think we're going to either do a dog walk or we're going to sit in the back with a burning chemical fire log and catch up because I haven't seen it for a while. So that's what we're up to, and yeah. So until we geek again, I shall say cheerio and huzzah, and be safe, be kind, be brilliant. Bye.